Hello everybody and happy Wednesday. So today I want to talk about my mom. Now I have always loved chatting with my mom ever since before I remember being able to talk, really. I was always a bit of a weird kid, and I remember my mom was one of the few people that I could always talk to. I remember in preschool and kindergarten when there were half days. Remember half days? I miss half days. But my mom would take me after half day. She would pick me up every day and we would go typically to Burger King and we would talk the whole time about random things. I asked her how babies were made at a ridiculously young age, and the weird thing was she didn't dodge the question or, well, let's have a family meeting and talk about that. She explained it to me because I had a question and we were having a discussion. And I was 5, I think, at the time. I mean, who's prepared for that discussion at 5? After first grade, my parents decided to homeschool me and my mom worked from home, so whenever I'd read something that I found particularly cool or interesting, or I needed to understand something like long division, my mom would sit down and explain and we would just chat for hours and hours and hours, and we drank so much tea. Kind of ridiculous. But I have a lot of great memories from that time. My mom was a great violist, and so once we went to Ravinia, this was when we were still living in Northern Illinois, to get her viola appraised, which apparently is a thing you do, I guess for insurance purposes, maybe? I'm not sure. Anyway, the point is my mom and I started cracking jokes with the appraiser guy about Jack Benny, which violin, not viola, but still, who gets to do that? And at a really young age, it's so weird. And I remember my mom would also plan field trips. One time we went into Chicago and we took a boat ride along some canals in Chicago, and it was an architecture tour, which I thought was going to be boring as all heck. And then it became really fascinating just to look at the buildings because there was a Chicago fire, so there's all this kind of mix matching of weird architecture of old buildings and new buildings, and it was really cool for some weird reason. And I was, I don't know, 9? And to top it off, we went to the Museum of Science and Industry, which is the coolest place for a, I don't know, probably 9-year-old boy, because there are all these hands-on exhibits and you can see how electricity and physics does its physics and electricity. Clearly that was money well spent. Anyway, when I was, I don't know, let's say 12, we had to move up to Madison and my dad was already working up there, and so we were finishing packing stuff up and it became kind of an all-nighter, and I was kind of the only kid who was barely, sort of, not really allowed to stay up all night. not really at all. But the point is, I was able to, my mom and I just chatted and packed stuff and had a wonderful conversation, which seems really weird for someone to engage a 12-year-old in conversation. And to this day, I hope I held up my end of it because it seems very unlikely. Once we had moved to Madison, I started going back to school, and my guidance counselor, since I wasn't very popular, thought we could remedy this by starting a chess club. Genius! A chess club is the best way to win friends and influence people. It's in the book. Anyway, so I did that in 8th grade, and then freshman year, there was no chess club in our high school, so my mom would pick me up and drive me from my high school after class to another high school that had a chess club so I could do chess things. I swear my mom has logged so many hours just driving us around that it boggles the imagination. Anyway, unfortunately through the rest of high school, I was not the greatest kid, yet my parents still seemed always to be there for me, which kind of stretches the limits of patience and understanding and compassion, really. In a story that I'm totally never going to get into, I found myself stranded in St. Louis one day, which is a far cry away from Madison, Wisconsin. Anyway, my mom flew down on the next available flight and rescued me. And I was at a point in my life where I really didn't deserve it. Things got better though. I decided I wanted to do something nice for my mom the summer before college, so I saved up some money. I said, Mom, can you just make sure that a weekend at some point in the summer is free? And we went down to Chicago and I took her to the Museum of Science and Industry and we went and saw 2 shows, and it was a lot of fun. And then I went off to college. And after college, I came home for a little bit, and then I moved out to New York. And now I don't see her anywhere near as much as I would like to. Now, I don't drive anymore, and at one point last year, I flew back home for a visit, and I had to fly into O'Hare, so I took a shuttle from O'Hare all the way up to Madison, and it was really late. I got in at like 1 in the morning. And so I texted Mom and said, just go to sleep, and I'll get a cab, and I'll head over and stuff. It'll be fine. Nope. Just like high school, my mom pulls up, and I hop in the car, and we stop off for food on the way home because I hadn't eaten, and we chat the whole night. It's my mom's birthday today, and I've been trying to figure out what exactly I can say to explain what she means to me. And I look back at, even times I've tried, like taking her down to see shows and go to the Museum of Science and Industry. was really, really more of a present for me than anything else. But Mom, every chance I get to talk to you is a gift, and I don't know how you have been so patient over such a long period of time and under such strenuous conditions. But I love you, and happy birthday, and I will see you this weekend. Right, now the rest of you, have an awesome Wednesday, call your mother, and I'll see you on Friday.